pastor. So for me, when I first came down to Charleston, I really, I really didn't have a whole lot of hope in my life. And I think for me, my education was paid for, and I was kind of doing what college students do, but I felt, I just felt that there was a significant emptiness in my life. And the first time that I really prayed, it was kind of like, it was very basic. It was kind of like, hey, if there's anybody up there that can hear me, I would love it if you would let me know. So this first poem, all three poems tonight are actually written by this guy, Jesse Fisher, who is an artist I like. And this first poem is kind of like, what do you do when, because I realize that not everyone in here may be a Christian, but what do you do when the waves are crashing over the boat and you can't see the lighthouse, kind of deal? What do you do when your own strength, your own intelligence, your own resources fail in such a way that you have to look beyond that? You have to look somewhere else. So this first poem is called Resurrection Injection. What is the cure to infectious disease? What if the symptoms outnumber the leaves of the tree, the sands of the sea? A man that can't stand is down on his knees. He's been hurting so hard that he can't even breathe, you see. We cough and we sneeze, we gasp and we wheeze, searching for something that'll help us relieve the pain when we eat, the pain in our speech. Our world becomes dark because nothing tastes sweet. So we lie and we cheat, we fight for our keep. Acting like wolves, we devour the weak. But we're shepherdless sheep, too nervous to sleep. We act like we're perfect when we silently weep. Our sinuses bleed with envy and greed. Selfish consumption as we consistently feed. We consistently ache. We consistently take pills with names that are fake. Just let me escape. Just let me put all my faith in things that forsake. If I just were in shape, if I just lost some weight, if I just had a house with a boat on the lake, cheap thrills move through our bodies like cold chills. We'll pay with our credit cards these bills. We're dressed in our best just to look like success, but we need to be healed. Our nation is sick with the sin that will lead us to death, and we need to be healed. We need a resurrection injection. He was nailed to the cross just to heal our infection. He was beaten and bruised just to heal our deception. He broke the back of depression. He knocked the teeth out of death, gave his last breath, rose up from the grave, and said, you're no longer slaves. You've been freed from your chains, your heartache and pain. Just call on my name. His name is Jesus. His name is Jesus. His name is Jesus. So I remember after praying that first prayer, that was just kind of like, I remember I was in the Kelly house in downtown Charleston, and I just remember kind of looking up, and it was like I had one flare left in the gun. And I just kind of said, hey, if there's anybody out there that can hear me, I would love a response. But there wasn't anything right in the beginning there. I didn't become a Christian at that point or anything. Honestly, I was probably more of an agnostic. I kind of thought that maybe there was something out there, but I didn't think it was knowable. But then this journey basically started, I don't have time to get into it, where I started to believe that there was this God out there. But one of the things that I grew up with was this God that was always disapproving of me. It was this idea that based on a lot of things from my childhood, it's been this feeling of like, man, like, all right, I think there's a God out there, but he seems so mad. I feel like I'm constantly letting him down. I don't necessarily feel like I have a resource for a relationship. And I think that one of the evolving things in my spirituality has been this growing belief that maybe he actually does care and love for his creation. So the second poem is, again, by Jesse Fisher. It's written about the story of the prodigal son, who the father, who basically asked his dad, there's two brothers, the younger son asked the dad for his share of the inheritance, which is kind of like saying in that culture, hey, I wish you were dead, because that he would have gotten the inheritance when his father died. But the son leaves, and the poem depicts the father's heart for the son and his desire for him to come home. So this second poem is called Just Come Home. I could tell by the look in his eyes he was searching for a prize, worthy of his strength, worthy of his life. In a world full of shiny things, hoped that he'd see his name burning bright up high in the city lights. And that's when he came to me. Father, won't you give me what is due to me? I gotta go now. Time for me to get out of this small town. Time for me to live my life, my way, my dreams. It's my right. I know that I gotta dance with the city and own the night. Gotta find someone pretty and toast the wine. I gotta live for the moment, gotta get what's mine. I gotta live for the moment, I gotta shine.
I stood right beside him and watched him pack his things, watched him walk out the door with his hopes and dreams. I pray my best prayer for him every night I sleep. I pray my best prayer for him, yet my soul it weeps. Day after day and week after week, I could still hear him laugh and I could still hear him speak. I remember the day that I had a son. I remember our joy and I remember our fun. Weeks turn to months and months turn to years. The hope of my thoughts now consider the fear. Wonder if he's doing well. Maybe he's found a girl. Maybe he got stuck in jail. Maybe he's been shot and killed. I don't know, but I'd give all that I own just to hold my son again. The tears and the blood that I spent, the nails in my hands and my wrists, to cover the sin and the shame that you're in, to give you my peace that you might love to repent. I'd place a kiss on his cheek and a crown on his head, just to know that my son's not dead. And if you spend all your gold and you're lost and you're cold, just come home. Just come home. And so as I've learned more about the Father's love and actually started to believe that there's this God in heaven that loves me, I've started to realize more and more so that there's this mission that those who claim to be followers of Christ are on. And it's a mission to be ambassadors of that hope and love to a world that obviously is in desperate need of it. So this last and final poem is really, and it's also by Jesse Fisher, is written as a depiction of that mission. So maybe you can identify yourself in it. This one's called Declaration. We believe in the overthrowing of darkness in high places over our country, lifting a banner of truth and love, opening eyes, giving sight to the blind, the miraculous. We've been given power and authority to overcome hate with love, fear with faith, depression with hope. The Prince of Peace, the Lord of Hosts, the Alpha and Omega, stands at the gates of our city, calling out for the children to arise and possess their rightful place as sons and daughters of the Most High. We are not one, we are many. We are not weak, we are strong. We are not afraid, we are bold, knowing his voice, standing in his purpose, giving our hearts and minds to answer his call, to proclaim his freedom, to announce his victory, to proclaim his glory to a world sick with immorality, poisoned with lies, confused, hurting, beaten, broken. We hold the keys to unlocking their prisons. United in love, we will shout down the walls of division. Hear the trumpets of mercy flow. Hear the trumpets of mercy blow. A sound of many rushing waters flow. As the marching of feet, as into the ends of the earth we go. As ambassadors of the King of Kings, we declare, this is our city. This is our nation. We are the children of God, his hands and his feet, his heart and his beat. Jehovah our leader. We are his bride as he races to meet her. We speak a message of greater hope and faith. Ask, seek, and knock on the doors and the gates. Believe what you ask for. The Lord is not fake. He will pour out his riches for his own name's sake. This is the quest. This is the call. Some of us might die now. Some of us might fall. But fear of failure will never stop us from giving our all. Awake, all you giants, you lions, you lambs. Now is the time, the moment at hand. Glory unveiled as we take back our land. Dear sweet America, no longer will you slumber, being seduced by the lies of an unfaithful lover. You'll arise to your purpose. You're a queen. You're a mother. For now is the time to be a light to your sisters and brothers. God bless you guys.